The Antler, one of the most dangerous and mysterious objects within the custody of the LGS. And it is why we spend just as much time looking for needles in haystacks as we do fighting off supervillains and giant monsters. Begin report. July 29th, 1991. Dale then spots a large moose antler, which he purchases for $37. However, once the antler was within his hands, he goes on a vicious rampage, killing everyone in sight. While he was holding the antler, he seemed to be in an enraged state, could not be communicated or reasoned with. During this rampage in the pawn shop, the antler illustrated its other anomalous ability. The ability to slice through and stab through just about any material, despite appearing to be made of keratin and having no serrated edges or points. And the fact that a moose antler, under no circumstance, should be able to slice through a human arm or cleave a person in half right down the middle, much less stab through a brick wall. After using the antler to carve his way out of the pawn shop, Dale went on to kill 15 people in a mindless act of cold blood. Dale was then shot at by a police officer. However, Dale used the antler in another anomalous way. He was able to not only block the bullets from her gun, he was able to deflect them back using the antler. Federal agents were then dispatched to take care of Dale. However, he was fired upon, and yet again the bullets bounced off the antler, killing a few of the agents. Dale then attacked one of the men with a riot shield, the antler punching all the way through it and into the man's arm. However, this gave time for a nearby agent to put a bullet in Dale's back, which paralyzed him and caused him to drop the antler, ending his rampage. The antler was then confiscated and cleaned via robotic means, as the LGS had seen previous security footage of Dale's rampage. It was determined that somehow physical contact with the antler caused Dale's extreme violence and enraged state. Dale White himself was then also confiscated and taken to the custody of the LGS, with great protests from the Alaskan state government and the government of the United States. Official report ends here. The antler is an unusually large, unusually durable, and obviously anomalous moose antler. It seems to possess a sharp blade where there appears to be none, and sharp edges which allow it to cut through brick walls and even people. As to the limits of its durability and strength, that is currently unknown. And as to how or why it ended up in the pawn shop is also unknown, as the owner of the pawn shop seemingly fled unscathed by Dale's rampage, but was never seen again. Dale White and the antler were then transported to Anomalous Containment Site 3. The antler was then kept in a reinforced item case, and Dale was kept in a standard containment cell for a person. Within the coming days, Dale showed signs of a deteriorating mental state and an unhealthy obsession with the antler. It was then determined via consensus between the LGS and the United States government that Dale should be executed. His execution date was August 20th, 1991.